Their parties were considered a terrorist organization by the United States of America and the Israeli government themselves. They are convicted terrorists by Israeli courts, not by any other courts. And now they are in charge of internal security. They're giving guns to the settlers, which I like because those guns one day is going to be turned against their fucking people in Tel Aviv, hopefully. And the Minister of Finance, Smutrich, whatever the fuck his name is, he's from Lithuania. He's had the same problem. You understand? So let's the old haggard here talk.
We have elections. Just because Hamas had an election and the PA haven't had an election in what, 19 years? Hamas haven't had an election in 17 years. Yeah. We have elections. The people speak and they elect the leaders that they want. But it's very, very interesting how everybody's putting the blame on Netanyahu and this government when previous governments, some on the left, also were rejected. Also, the Palestinian leadership rejected statehood. What was the excuse then? Why don't we ask ourselves, what is the fundamental reason why Yasser Arafat and Mahmoud Abbas have said no to very generous peace deals?
See, the magic word here is generous. That means it's bullshit. You understand? You have to understand the language of liars. When these people lie, they will sprinkle some stuff with sugar and all that shit for you to chase the sugar, but there's some fucking salt and poison in there. You will not notice it. You understand? You have to learn the language of liars. Well, why would these people refuse a state of their own, a generous state, which means nothing, and don't want it? Well, they just want to be subjugated to the Israeli Jews. I guess so. Does that make any sense to you as a person of fucking sound mind who is listening to this fucking idiot here with a mic and fucking glasses and the hat? I'm growing my hair, by the way. These people, they lie. You have to listen. You have to read in between the lies. You have to be sophisticated when they talk. Okay? Let's go.
What is the reason why Hamas have rejected now a ceasefire deal 5 times? Blinken did say that the deals were very generous, but it was Hamas.
Blinken, the Secretary of State of the United States, after October 7, he went to Israel as the Secretary of State and went to Netanyahu and started fucking sucking his dick, and he said, I have come to you as a Jewish citizen. That motherfucker is a traitor. You are representing the United States. If you dual citizenship all over the place, dual citizenship, man. Fucking these white fucking Christian evangelists, they can fucking take over their own country. The United States, by the way. Good.
Who rejected it. And then they magically accepted a deal that we didn't even offer. And again, trying to manipulate the media. And so again, like the question is not this government. It's very easy to blame this government right now. They're an easy target. What was the problem with the Ehud Barak government? What was the problem with the Ehud Olmert government? What was the problem with the Rabin government?
All liars.
Well, they didn't kill nearly 40,000 Palestinians in 8 months.
First of all, please, Piers, we know that the numbers have gone up and down like yo-yo.
I have a fucking theory why they argued, why Piers turned against her. Because he has an English accent. He knows he's lying. Oh, I got it. She's speaking to him in his own native accent. That's why he knew she was lying, because the other guys, he didn't understand that kind of language. That's what it is. I got it. To all the white evangelists, Zionist evangelists, you should be concerned with America. You should be in charge of your country, in charge of your government, in charge of everything here. You are the majority here. Instead of giving your money to fucking Israel and fucking lying and helping them kill children. Really. I think it's a shame. These douchebags are fucking unpatriot to America.
Even the UN said last week that it wasn't already 35, do you think have been killed? That it was 20.
Here we go. Here we go.
How many do you think have been killed?
We have, I would say.
Okay, before we start, she's going to mention how many Hamas they killed. But she will refuse to say any civilian. Even a couple of months ago, the same thing. You know why? Because it's going to be on record and they are under international investigation for genocide. So if they admit to any killing, it will be used against them. You could fucking pull all her teeth. She will never give you that number. Now let's listen to them fight, because we finally got an Israeli spokesperson who speaks in Piers Morgan's English language. No R's in it.
potentially around 20,000, because that's what the
You
UN
have
have
no
said,
idea.
22,000.
You have no idea.
Let's not start with this line of questioning.
Actually,
I
I'm
don't
going to
think
start with this line of
I don't think, no, I
Love
don't
you,
think
Piers.
Churchill knew in the middle of the Second World War how many Germans he'd killed.
Churchill.
And so this is a farcical question. What I can tell you is
You
that
just
we know
gave me a
we
number,
killed
but you've no idea
14
why you've got that
That's what
number.
the UN says. The UN says, according to the so-called Gaza Health Ministry, let's take their number.
So-called.
Let's take the number, the mistaken,
Say it.
corrected
Say the number.
of the Gaza so-called health ministry, all terrorists underground, hiding like cowards. But let's say now they're saying 22,000. We know we've killed 14,000 terrorists.
No, you don't.
Now you tell me.
you don't.
Yes, we do.
No, you
yes,
don't.
we do. So you tell me.
No,
we know
I'm
how
sorry.
many
I'm not
brigades
having
we've gotten
that.
rid of.
I pressed
We
the
know
Israeli.
how many brigades.
Hang on.
We know how many brigades we've got.
Hang
Hold
on.
the Piers.
We know how many
Hang on. I'm
brigades
going to
left.
respond to you. I did
We
put
know
this.
how many brigades.
I put this
have
to an
gotten rid of.
Israeli
Brigades.
government spokesman. I asked him, how many Hamas have you killed? And he gave me this figure. And I said, how many civilians have you killed? And he had no idea. I said, well, then how can you be so precise about how many terrorists you've killed? You can't. If you've got
Because
no
we
idea
know-
how many civilians
we
you've
know-
killed, why
we
should I
know
believe a
how-
word about the
because-
numbers of Hamas?
Because we know how many brigades they have, because we have that intelligence.
Brigade.
We know how many brigades
So just to be
were
clear,
in different
just to be
places.
clear, you know exactly how many terrorists you've killed, but you have no idea how many
We
civilians.
estimate, absolutely, we estimate that there's about 14,000 terrorists, which we've gotten rid of. We
You see how sophisticated that bitch is? Can I call her bitch? She's a bitch. Fuck her. I don't care about you two. We killed about 30. She's still on the Hamas shit. She will not admit how many civilians they killed. You could pull any Israeli spokesperson teeth on live TV. They will lose all their 32 teeth. I don't know if she has 32, but still.
know how many are left. There's 4 brigades, and that's why we're in Rafah.
4 brigades. 4
How many
brigades.
civilians
And
have you
at
killed?
the UN, again, Piers, in the middle of the Second World War, I don't think you could have
Wow,
pushed Churchill
you're doing it as
to
well.
ask him.
Sorry,
What am I
Fleur.
doing?
You're doing the same
What
thing
am
the
I
government
doing?
spokesman did.
Absolutely
You know
not.
exactly
It
how
is
many
a
terrorists you've killed, but
nonsensical
you've
we
no
don't know
idea
exactly.
how many civilians.
We don't know exactly.
How
We don't know
convenient.
exactly.
Fucking Ali over there is like, yes, I don't have to talk. I got Piers again on my side for the first time. Piers has gone balls like twice. Piers, when he got home, he got a lot of phone call from Israel. What the fuck you doing, Piers? Piers, what are you doing, man? You lost your mind or what? Hamas, Khumbus. Remember that shit we fill your head with? Good.
We don't know exactly.
How
You're really hanging
convenient
on. You're
that
really
Israel
touching
knows
it.
exactly how many terrorists you've
Do you
killed,
believe
but
the
you've
UN
no
numbers?
idea how
Do you
many
believe the
innocent
UN
women and
numbers?
children.
Do you believe the UN numbers?
Huh?
Do you believe the UN
I
numbers?
just find it staggering that you'll all come
Do
on
you
and
be-
say to me,
I
we
find
know
it
we've killed
staggering that in the middle of the war-
14,126 Hamas, but we've
Because
no
we know-
idea how many civilians.
Because we know what the army that we're dealing with is. We know what the terrorist
No, I'm
army
sorry,
that
it's
we're dealing with
nonsense
is.
to say you can count one and not the other.
Absolutely not. It's
Absolute
nonsense to even ask the
nonsense.
question. I don't know who in the middle of a war starts counting here.
Oh,
how
but
starts
you're
counting the
counting.
people that they've killed.
You're
No,
counting.
we know how many are left.
Sorry,
We
you're
know how
counting, but
many-
you're only counting one side.
Piers, you seem to be a little obsessed with this.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's
obsessed
not
with how many
obsessed.
civilians are
Let's
being
say,
killed.
all right, let's say we take the so-called Gaza Health Ministry's numbers, the corrected version. Do you remember what that is now?
That was the number of people they could actually put a name to,
The
right?
corrected, the
So
corrected
they could put a name
version.
to.
So we went
And you think
from
that's the total
last
number of
time I was
civilians
on-
killed?
This is the Israeli propaganda. You see that? She will never say how many people they killed. But they had reported about a month ago, there were about 35,000 people have been killed, women and children. And according to the United States government, 25,000 of them are women and children. They're not fucking fighters or Hamas or Hamis, whatever the fuck you want to call them. The problem is there's about 40. So the United Nations came and said, well, we are going to recognize the first 25,000. The reason is why is because we could identify them by name. The rest, we don't know what their name are. They're in pieces. You understand? So what they did is, as a propaganda scumbags they are, well, they had to readjust the number. Look at it. They were lying. They were lying. They were lying. You see how these Palestinians lied? They didn't lose all their mothers and grandmothers and sisters and kids and grandkids. You see the real number? They just went out for the sake of Twitter for one day. Then the UN had to come out and say, no, don't use that as propaganda. We're saying these are the people we identified already. We know by name, like Jane Johnson, like, you know, people we know who they are. So to my fellow Americans, these are not your allies. These are not like us. The Israeli government is not your allies. The Israelis, they're not your allies. They fucking destroyed the USS Liberty 50 years ago and killed like 35, 40 Americans and injured. A U.S. warship was destroyed by Israel in 1967 on purpose. You know what the United States said? They have not released the investigation until this day. You understand what I'm saying here? I'm willing to bet you that I'm an American citizen. My children are American citizen. My father was an American citizen. We are worthless. If an Israeli sniper kills me in the middle of Manhattan, Joe Biden will be scared to condemn it. I'm telling you, that's how bad this shit is. The American citizen has no value when it comes to Israel. Just look at how Congress works. They can't agree on the border for now, 11 months? They can't agree. But when they have passed like 6 pro-Israeli bills since, 6 months? They'll agree on one thing. We got to give our money to Israel. But if some poor lady in West Virginia asks for welfare food stamp, you got to pick yourself by your bootstraps. Good.
The last time I was on your show, you had Barghouti saying that there was 40, 50, 60,000 dead. Let's just add numbers on.
Underground.
Why not? Everybody will believe you anyway. And then we had the corrected version of the numbers, which went down to about 22, 24,000.
They were the names of people. They were the names they could put a name to. They don't know how many people are lying in rubble still. They have no idea. People have been killed.
We know how many.
People have been killed in gigantic numbers week in, week out. You know that, and I know that. I've interviewed doctors. I've interviewed doctors in hospitals saying 500 people have been brought in every single day. But what staggers me, Fleur, what staggers me is that you, like the government spokesman I interviewed, you are certain you know exactly how many terrorists you're killing, but you have no idea how many civilians. Let me bring you Wajah.
We know how big the army. We know how big.